Welcome back to GameScoop, everybody. I'm Damon Hatfield. I'm joined now by Ryan, Justin, hipster Justin, and Greg Miller.
I'm running for Congress. I'd like the third seat in the District of Columbia.
I'm sorry about my Don Matrick hair today.
That's okay. We all have our roles.
I like it.
Wave.
Yeah. It's good. We're going to talk about something interesting here. This comes from one of our viewers, Cezanne.
Cezanne?
Yeah, it's a pretty good name.
Saison?
Nope, it's not that.
Okay.
All right.
Is it say anything?
What I said.
We'll move on.
Cezanne says, I was thinking about system launches of the past couple of generations, and the games that came out were not memorable at all. Talking about launch games, right? Mm-hmm. So he says, my question is, are we getting excited this November for what we will consider garbage in 2 years? or are these all veteran developers creating games with a track history of success?
As usual, the truth lies somewhere in between.
Right? Yeah.
You don't remember that PS2 chestnut Fantavision?
So I would say
Talk about Fantavision.
for the major home consoles, I can't speak to Vita or 3DS as well, but I'd say the last killer app at a launch was Halo 1 for Xbox One. I don't think the 360, I don't think the PS3 had any games at launch, day one. They were like, I need to buy this system right now.
Right. I think that's a worthy point. I know that, I think Rich used to make the case, I think, that, or I don't even bring that up because I'm not right, but for PlayStation for sure, for PlayStation Vita, Colin and I think a lot of people, if you look at that lineup, that was a strong lineup, but it didn't move units even in a weird spot, right? Because you want a game, when you have a system launch and there's only going to be a few games out, to be the standout game, to be the one everybody remembers like a Halo, that takes something super special.
It does. It's tough. But at the same time, to the reader's point, these are veteran developers, and everything, like we saw this, I think we saw this with 360 and PS3 this gen, everything was pretty safe. Like, the 360 lineup was very good. There was Call of Duty 2, there was Condemned, there was Project Gotham Racing 3, one or two others.
Peter Jackson's King Kong.
Yep. Not a launch title, not a day one launch title. It came out a month later in December, but yeah, there were some really good games, but nothing you were like, you'd tell all your friends, like, you need to buy this now.
There was Geometry Wars.
Right.
I guess even
that was within PGR3, which so arguably possibly the best of the launch titles for 360.
And that's what, I mean, when we talk about PS4 and you talk about Xbox One, and I try to explain to people why we're excited for this, they go, oh, cool, blah, blah, and oh, yeah, and it's got, it's got to have 2,000 friends on PlayStation 4, and this will connect to your TV, and people are like, cool, what games does it have? And you're like, well, Titanfall looks good, but that's not coming out on day one, and I'm really excited for Infamous, but that's in February, like, there's all these
you think, like, we're excited to play Watch Dogs, right?
Right.
But then, if you already have a PS3 or an Xbox 360, you can still
buy it.
Like, this is the big question: is how much different or how much better, superior are the ports, or not ports, but the next gen versions of these games going to be? Stuff like Battlefield, stuff like Watch Dogs, Call of Duty, Assassin's Creed. Like, is it worth $400 or $500 to get Assassin's Creed 4 on a next gen console?
I think Battlefield is a good case where there's going to be a massive discrepancy between the two, but something like Watch Dogs and AC4, maybe not so much.
Watch
we'll
Dogs
see.
has got to be.
I mean, everything
crazy.
does it though?
It's crazy. I mean, that's what we don't know, and that's what I said on the live stream yesterday for Call of Duty Ghosts. Right? It was just like, these are cool features. What is the parity between systems? Like, what are you going to see on PS3 versus PS4, Xbox One versus Xbox? And it reminds me, you're talking about veteran developers, right? It reminds me so much of when Madden came to 360, and there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hands down, the better version of Madden that year was on Xbox. Period. The original. I don't know how you say it anymore.
OG
the original Xbox. And Xbox 360 version was a totally watered down, pretty.
It was stripped down. It was very stripped down, and they seem to be avoiding that this time. Both
that we know of.
That we know of, but. Yeah, it's funny you say that, Greg, because I was just going to bring up the sports games, because NBA 2K14 and the return of NBA Live, what will come of it, we don't know yet, but NBA 2K14 and Madden are sort of two really just multi-million, two of the biggest selling games every single year, and they are getting day one launch titles for both systems, and those could be markedly better than the current gen counterparts, at least in the visuals department.
Sure.
I think companies have gotten better about, like, that transition, that console transition gets a little bit smoother each time. It used to be like a hard break. These are the new consoles. These are what all the games are coming out for. And then last gen, there was like a good year, 18-month overlap. And now I think it's going to be even longer. I think we're going to very slowly and steadily.
Part of that, too, was the huge... We're not taking as big a leap this generation as we did last time around, going from standard def to high def. All new engines had to be rewritten. This time, EA is doing their Ignite sports engine, but we're seeing a lot of games more just sort of iterate on their current technology, and and slowly maturing it into next gen. Whereas, to your point, Justin, last time around you had to just start from scratch.
Well, we also, I mean, it's way too expensive for someone to make a game that's next gen only. There are a few exceptions. There are a few next gen only games, but generally,
most of them are first party though.
Yeah, generally speaking, for a game to even remotely have a chance to make its budget back, it has to be on the PS3 and 360 and PC, where there's already millions.
Yeah,
of
we
gamers.
saw Thief announced a while ago. The Thief reboot was originally going to be a next gen only title, and then they must have an accountant must have gotten a hold of that situation and went.
That's gotta be someone at Square Enix.
No, we better go ahead and put out current gen versions of this too.
Even to that point, you think about when the latest Rayman was going to be a Wii U exclusive, right? And
Same
then
thing.
they were like, well, let's actually recoup some of the costs here and make this happen.
And so I wouldn't be surprised if, so obviously Assassin's Creed 4 is both versions, but maybe even next year's version, that might also, you might still get a 360 PS3
I would
version.
bet on it,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
You see that? Well, it takes a long time. It takes years even for developers to get comfortable with developing for these systems, right? And really learn how to get the most out of them.
And that's why so many of these first-run launch games are like, okay, that's great at the time, but you don't look back and go, man,
won't hold
Resistance
up.
Fall of Man was
Yeah.
the first-person shooter.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, if you look at the best games of the generation, I don't know, games like BioShock, Uncharted, Mass Effect 2, like you don't see those at the beginning, at the launch.
I mean,
but like, what if they could, right? Like, what if they did? I know. What if they were like Xbox One and they had like a BioShock quality game ready to go at launch?
Yeah,
That'd be nice.
Well, it's like I'm hyped about games like Rise. Like I think it looks really cool. I want to play it, but I don't see that 6-7 years from now that being like the game that we all they're like, yeah, that's the Xbox One.
They can't
game
all
you
be
gotta
Smuggler's Run.
No, we have a list of confirmed day one games for both consoles. A lot of like we've been talking about ports or upgraded versions.
The lists
of
are very,
current-gen
very
games.
similar to
They're
one
very
another.
similar. There's lots of overlap. PS4 has a few more exclusives like Killzone Shadowfall, Knack.
Boom! Knack! System seller. Mark Cerny's back, bitches.
What is that?
You got Rise, you got Dead Rising 3,
do
you
have
got
Dead Rising
Forza.
3,
So
yeah.
it's
Is
I
Dead
think it's
Rising
pretty-
3 a launch?
Yeah, it is.
Ooh, good.
It's
Okay.
day one
Justifying
launch
my
title.
purchase of an Xbox One.
And actually, that is probably number one on my list right now.
So what are we, Damon? Are we going to go over what we're all actually planning on buying?
We can.
Okay. I'd like to know. I'm curious.
Okay. I have my PS4 pre-order with Watch Dogs.
Yeah.
That's all I've got so far.
Me too. I have a PS4 pre-order with Watch Dogs, the exact same deal, and I'm probably going to pick up Assassin's Creed 4 as well. I'm very...
No, man. We were burned.
I'm so-so on that franchise, but I just love pirates too much. I can't... You can
know,
sail
that's-
around the seas and be a pirate and customize your pirate ship. I'm like, all right.
I've been saying Assassin's Creed 4 is like, I thought I was out, but they pulled me
Right.
back in.
Won't
'cause
get fooled again.
Yeah,
And
it's,
it's like,
well.
we'll see.
Yeah,
I hope it's
mean,
good.
I've got both pre-ordered. I would say Forza and Dead Rising on the first-party front for Microsoft. The 1666 isn't a day one launch title,
it is
right?
not,
So that's the
no.
PS4 game I'm most excited about so far. But then on the third-party side, definitely Watch Dogs for sure.
Yeah. For me, I have them both pre-ordered. Now that I know it, Dead Rising it will be purchased right away.
And on
Watch
PS4,
Dogs for sure.
DC Universe Online.
DC. I mean, I mean, you want to talk about the greatest games of the generation,
I
and
know.
and it's I guess
sure.
this is finally the definitive launch title
Yep.
game you could buy.
This is the BioShock
This is
at
the only
launch.
one you need to have. The greatest MMO of all time on theoretically the greatest system of all time with 2,000 friends and Vita integration.
Yeah, so Cezanne asked if we're getting excited for maybe no reason. People were more excited about the potential that comes with a new console, right? Like
Yeah.
you're going to have this thing for years and years. You're going to be playing so many great games over the next 5 to 10 years. Like that's what people are excited about.
Not to sound like a crotchety old man, but gosh, guys, remember back in the day when there was a killer app with every launch?
And it was
Yeah.
packed in with the
Super
system.
Mario Brothers,
Yeah.
Super Mario World, Sonic the Hedgehog, and it was just
I mean, you could argue that the Wii, had Wii Sports. That moved.
Wii Sports.
People bought it for Wii
even
Sports.
Twilight Princess could be argued, even though it also came out for GameCube.
Yeah.
It's a borderline
Wii
one.
Sports and Twilight Princess was a great,
Right. It's actually a
1-2
really-
casual,
you've got
serious
your, like,
gamer.
hardcore
Yeah.
and your casual gamer.
and yes, Halo 1, but yeah, it's...
Yeah, I mean, you point out. I mean, I know this for a lot of people. Maybe they didn't like the Wii Zelda that much. We've talked about. It was really just an upgraded. You know,
was.
but
But
it was still a new console launched with a Zelda. I mean, how could you not be excited for that at the time?
Yeah.
Little did we know it would be all wolf digging and fringe fingers. You don't even know what's that.
And how long is this game? It's like 70 hours long.
No, I mean, no one's spending $400 or $500 for what's available day one. They're buying it knowing that there's going to be all those experiences in the months and years. to
And
come.
arguably, they're buying it more for the non-game things, just like the system potential, like the 2,000 friends and the game DVR functionality and all the social sharing stuff. Yeah.
I just like we're all, I guess I don't want to speak for you. Me personally, I'm a big enough nerd that I just like playing around with new hardware and new technology.
Yeah.
Like I don't own a Vita, but I've been borrowing an IGN Vita. And like, it's not even about the games library. It's just about playing around with it and feeling it. And I like checking out new tech. And so it'll be exciting to have, new consoles in my entertainment system.
We got some tech over here.
This fall is gonna be very, very exciting. What do we?
Hopefully, we're going to get release dates for these things.
Yeah,
maybe next week,
right?
next week at Gamescom.
I'll
be there.
How sure are we that Microsoft?
Not at all sure.
Not at all sure. Okay.
I think they're both trying to position as soon as possible. I'm sure Sony is trying everything they can to hit October, since Microsoft is November. Because why wouldn't you? Of course you would. So, and I'm sure Microsoft is trying to get as early in November as possible. They've already scaled back from 21 countries in 2013 to 13. So, I stand by my prediction that the Xbox One will launch on November 5th alongside Call of Duty Ghosts. But that's
a really good
just
point.
me.
You think Sony will be a week earlier, maybe?
I think Sony is going to go, within a week or two in either direction, but probably on the earlier side.
I agree.
If I had to guess.
It's unbelievable that, I guess we would have to go back and check the tape, as the kids say.
Yeah.
But I think it's interesting that we don't have dates. These are a couple months away, and we don't have dates yet. That's not normal.
Didn't that happen with the Wii U though? Didn't they not give the date for Wii U till pretty late?
This is what now my memory.
That sounds familiar.
My brain, my memory is that we usually get dates at E3, but that could totally not be the case. It just seems crazy that we're 2 months away and we don't have dates yet.
It's exciting though.
Yeah.
It is.
Thanks,
Bring it
guys.
on.
Stay tuned for more from IGN GameScoop.